that the 12?
That was a very special countdown that Mel gave us. You noticed her last.
No, I didn't.
She gave us the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because she's such a great gal. Oh, hey, Johnny, how you doing there? So you're with us as we get ready to take off on a excellent journey, a voyage, as it were, Mr. Graham, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to record 7 shows.
It's about to get serious.
I can't believe we decided. We thought this was a good idea, right? Yeah, so we got all the notes typed up, which that took me fucking ever to do.
Yep.
Because my dog was being lovely, very, very nice.
Saw that. He hid underneath the table, strewn across the chairs,
and then just barked at me. Says, let's do it in stereo, Dad. Let's see how you like this.
Yeah. Right?
It was great. Microsoft decided not to work. I had to re-up my Microsoft, but then it wouldn't take. It would say you're paid, but we're not going to let it work. So I had a whole got all that shit. So anywho, let's talk about Everton. What I don't want to fucking talk about. Jesus. Last time we did the video, we had 5 matches left. Away at Villa, home to Villa. West Ham, home to Villa. We had Sheffield, we had Wolves, and 6 games. We had Man City. We managed to lose to Sheffield, lose to Villa, draw Villa, beat West Ham, which is exactly what I knew we'd beat West Ham. And then beat Wolves, and then make it so that the City match meant us going to Europe or not, which all we had to do was just beat Villa once, or draw Villa twice even. Beat fucking Sheffield. All we had to do was beat fucking Sheffield. And we had all of our fucking pieces out there. That's the worst part.
Yep.
James fucking starting. Everybody out. Everybody. The whole fucking... The only thing we were missing was maybe Yerry Mina. But we have decent enough center backs to cover anyway, so it didn't matter.
I feel like that was probably Sheffield's going down whilst taking the scalp.
Yeah.
Was you guys. And it just happened, 4 games before the end of the season.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, playing a team that has literally nothing to lose because they've already lost it all.
Yeah.
Is a difficult situation to be in.
Fired the interim manager after that match.
Yep.
Yes,
they did.
I know a lot of Everton fans are up in arms because before the City match, James tweeted out a picture of him on a private jet heading back to Colombia. He was laid out on a bed in shorts and kind of relaxing. He wasn't going to play the last game. And I think we as Everton fans don't think about it, but James doesn't play full seasons. There's very few people or players that hold country over club. James is that guy. Because he is absolutely the face of Colombia. Hands down, no doubt about it. He's the face of that
Here's
entire
what Christian
country.
Pulisic is to the Americans at the moment.
10 times more, though.
To Colombians on steroids.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and for us to think, for fans to get all riled up about that, I think it was a bit excessive, and I don't think it was really necessary. I think when we got James, if he was in prime playing condition, he wouldn't have been coming to Everton, even with Ancelotti there. If he was in prime playing condition,
love each other.
Yeah. If he's in prime playing condition, he was a Real Madrid fucking player. He'd be playing for fucking Real Madrid. Madrid would not be getting rid of him if he was in perfect playing shape and ready to rock and roll. Why would you get rid of him if he's doing
well? I mean, look at Gareth Bale. Why would they get rid of him? One of the record signings, top 3 record transfers ever. Sure. I mean, this is Zidane, who's now out as Real Madrid manager, by the way.
He'll be back again.
Holds those grudges and just does not care for certain players and refuses to budge because he can. He's been in the game and done all of it.
Hey, at least he doesn't fuck more now.
I think he wants to. I think he wants to. But that's why. I mean, look at Isco. How good Isco is as a player, for instance.
Yeah.
And Zidane, he's off the bench. Second or third substitution at best. He doesn't really start for him.
Yeah. No, it's
and
true.
he would walk into any other team in the world.
Very true.
Same with James. Just certain players like that Zidane just doesn't fancy.
So
And not many players also possess the mentality of Gareth Bale.
true.
I'm gonna fuck off and play golf
Yeah.
and just
Fuck you.
collect my $600 a week or whatever he's
Thanks.
on.
I'll go play golf.
Yeah,
While you all become bankrupt.
exactly.
When the Super League
Exactly.
fails and you're all crying that you're bankrupt.
Exactly. So if I was James, why not go somewhere where one, I'm valued, two, I can play, and three, the coach is somebody I really love.
Yeah, it's true. But those things all kind of fell into place, right? And we would have never in a million years thought we could get a player like him. Now, what are my expectations of him moving forward? Is to be exactly what it was this year. When we have him, be happy that we have him.
Right.
Now, what we have to do is find someone like him that's younger and costs less, so that when he isn't out there, you have that guy out there.
Right.
You know? And that
I'm
it's
surprised you didn't keep Jansen, whatever his name was. The big Sam bought years ago when he had all those number 10s.
oh, the Yelovich kid. There's
there's another one too, Jensen, who never played for
Clanson.
Clanson.
Yeah,
Clausen,
Clanson.
whatever.
Yeah, he played a couple of games and did
That's
horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. He's with Wolfsburg now and killing it. Killing it. But finding that kind of a player, because it can't be Gylfi Sigurdsson.
Not at
While
34 or whatever he is now.
right, and while Gylfi may have had good numbers, stats on a sheet doesn't always equal play on a field, right? It's okay. He had lots of assists. Those assists were mostly free kicks and corner kicks. He had a decent amount of goals, free kicks and penalties. So it just kind of, you look at what does he create from open play? Not that much, And what we got him for when we did buy him was to do exactly what James did against Liverpool to Richie, that little boom threading pass that a striker can get onto.
Right.
So I think right off the jump, that's probably when we're looking at what we need to do to improve this team is doing things like that, is finding a young backup that isn't always going to play there, but will play there some. When we have James, great, James is the guy. And you know what? If the kid's not doing it, you put in a Iwobi there for a little bit.
Right.
But that's what you got to kind of do. Or you let the master chess player, Carlo Ancelotti, do what he does, which is he'll fit the fucking lineup and the formation to the bodies he has.
To the bodies
He'll
has,
play
exactly,
the game to the bodies he
won't
has.
try to force, like Jurgen Klopp did on the other side of the park.
Right.
Try to force a system in place when he doesn't have the people to fill that out. I mean, how many times did we see players out of position and then Liverpool fall apart this season? Because he refused to change from that 3-5-2 kind of, or 3-4-3 really, system, and just start trying to plug players into places they didn't belong.
And I think we need to continue to sell assets. Obviously, we need to move on from Gylfi. I think it's time
Really
to.
hating on Gylfi Sigurdsson today.
It's because he's so damn expensive. I'll give him this much, man. He runs, he hustles, he tries, but he's an old man out there. And for the ground you need him to cover, it's just not good enough.
It's better than Josh King.
Yes.
Who's absolutely stealing them.
Well, the good thing for us with Josh King is all we did was pick up his salary for the end of the year, because he was legitimately it was no transfer fee, and he's there. I believe he got loaned in because he's on the end of his contract.
Right.
So it was just fine, fuck it. And it was clear we were going to try to play Calvert Lewin and Richie as much as humanly possible, and he was just there in case someone got hurt. But even when we put him in, the last game of the season, he didn't even make the bench.
He didn't do anything. Yeah, there was no justification for him making the bench. He was pitiful.
I think when I'm talking about the sale of assets, I think there's a couple of assets that might surprise you to hear me say, but I think that you could probably get some money for. I think it's probably time to move on from Mason Holgate. He really had a tough year this year, struggled a lot, and I think it's pretty clear we have Ben Godfrey now as that third center back to play with Keeney. If we want to be in a 3-back system, or if we're playing in a 2-back system. I think maybe it's time to bring like a Brandwaite or a Gibson back and let them be the fourth center back, because we're certainly going to, we already have Digne and Nkuku on the left, so we have depth behind that. We're going to need to get a right wing back for Coleman. Not that Coleman isn't a fucking hustler, not that he can't do it, it's just man's in his mid-30s now.
He's old, yeah.
It's time to get someone else. So I think selling somebody like him, I think another valuable asset who actually had a pretty fucking decent season, and there's a team asking about him to sell, Tom Davies. Southampton. Southampton.
Downgrade for him.
Yeah, but, I mean, you think of it, Alan Decore are definitely in the midfield. And if James is there, James is in the midfield. Then it's Andres Gomez.
Isn't Alan a bit older, though, as well?
Yes, he is. But then there's Andres Gomez. Then there's... hopefully we're moving on from Sigurdsson, but then there's Gbamin if he can actually be healthy for longer than 20 seconds.
I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that.
You're right, but like we've got pieces in central mid. We can also go find someone younger that maybe fits exactly the style we want. Tom has adjusted himself into the style, which is good. He's learned a lot under Carlo, but I feel like he's an odd man out, and it's not, let me say this, I don't want to sell him, but I think it's an asset that we could make probably 20 mil off of.
Around.
You
Probably,
know,
yeah.
and which all things considering that's a farm-raised player, that's free $20 million.
Yeah.
You know? Free.
And it's how you reinvest is the key to that.
Precisely.
And my only concern is with Alan being so old, are you kind of pissing away the fort, because that's going to be 40, 50 million to replace Davies 2 years from now.
Right.
And when Alan decides to retire.
I think we think that player is Gbamin.
Or move on. But how? He's played 3 games in 2 years.
I agree. But before that, he's been healthy as hell. His whole career before that, he was healthy. With Mainz and Cologne, he was
So
in
what, y'all
Germany.
have like staph infections
Yeah,
rolling around?
apparently, yes. Apparently we do.
I think Yannick Bolasy's still riding around Goodison Park on his bicycle. You might be able to get him back in.
You know the other valuable asset I could say we could move on from? We're not going to get anything. We're not going to get $40 million for him if what we bought him from you for. Highway robbery.
That's a piece of business.
Which is funny, because then you look at like this last summer, and Decore, Allen, and Godfrey. Godfrey was the most expensive at $25 million. The most expensive. And we got James on a free. Like, look at those 4. It's insane.
But you paid $40 million for
$40
Alex
million for Alex. Fuck me. The other valuable asset that I think we could possibly move on from, and especially considering how Europa went for Man U, Jordan Pickford. He since falling out, right? Mel's over here doing the Get the Rave On sign. Since falling out of favor with the team, getting in trouble, putting in Olsen when he got injured and all that, since he's come back, he has been fantastic. He's learned to keep his mouth shut. He doesn't get as abrasive during matches, and he's played really well. Like that 5-0 loss to City was not on him. He made 8 saves. Should have been 13-0. They should have just destroyed us. Worse than they did.
Yeah.
And I think that they're not sold on Henderson as their goalie, and De Gea missing that penalty shot, while that means nothing about his goaltending ability, was the nail in the coffin of we are going to move on from David De Gea.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And I really think probably get 50, 55, 60
Probably
from United.
Yeah, probably 50.
Because United feels they're close, and they're going to want to make some big splash changes
I think
to their team.
Part of the issue, though, too, is you have now an outgoing Ed Woodward. Now that
True.
the season's done.
True.
Is Edwin van der Sar, the goalkeeper himself, is he going to be sold on somebody like Jordan Pickford? obviously one of the better goalkeepers that ever lived, that played for Manchester United as well? Or is he going to try to splash cash elsewhere from somewhere in Europe? When you look at Robert Sanchez, from Brighton, just made the Spain squad. Now, granted, he'll be third choice, but he made the Spain squad. You've got other goalkeepers throughout the world that are very good. And look at the shit show going on at Juventus now.
Right.
With how poorly they finished the season, and now Antonio Conte gone from Inter. There's a lot of turmoil across world football that someone like Edwin van der Sar could use his contacts,
right.
and you for 20 million or 30 million could end up with Wolf Szczesny, for instance.
I can see that, but I also feel like they, particularly with Henderson, they gave him his opportunity. And it's not that he failed, but he didn't fucking pass.
I hear you.
And at the end of the day, I think he is England's number one. He is. And something about I could
but
see
it's
that.
Well documented, he's got a gaffing.
Oh yeah. But since the benching and coming back, there haven't been gaffes. He's played stellar. So, not that I want to get rid of him again. Like, I don't want to get rid of Tom Davies. I don't want to get rid of Jordan Pickford. But that right there could be 60 to 80 million. Like, that fixes a lot. Like, we want to go ahead and get that key guy, like that one.
Be able to pay off your fines from the financial fair play.
Yeah, yeah. We already did our time for that for the youth system. That's the best part. We get busted on financial fair play, not for our main squad, so that our youth system could win a youth Premier League. Go get them, boys! But yeah, I would say the key thing that we look for in this offseason, John, it's ultimately getting help at right back, because we need a right wing back.
Yes.
I think getting a second striker, if that's selling, another valuable asset, Moise Kean.
He
performed,
played very well at PSG.
Right, he performed at PSG. Probably get 45, 50 million for him.
Yeah.
Easily.
Would that be one that you give one more shot at?
That's what I wonder. I think it all comes down to him and Ancelotti.
Right.
Because I think something that Ancelotti learned is that while Richie had a down year but still played with heart and got some results for us, Dom did well, but we need that different kind of striker at times.
Yes.
One that can have the ball in his foot and create. Because Dom is a not so much a poacher goal scorer. He goes and gets them. Just takes them. Like, he's a big on the head, big on getting aerial wins, putting himself in the right places in the box. He makes great runs, holds up the ball magnificently, but we saw missed one-on-ones, missed outside shots.
Fair few times.
Like, he, against Sheffield, had a few really bad misses, like balls that should have been in the back of the net. And I think there needs to be a third person up top to help challenge Richie and Dom.
The other thing is you need somebody to throw on late in games if you're chasing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, who else are you bringing off the bench? That's part of the problem.
Right. It was like, we had Josh King, who wasn't even good enough to put on.
Josh King or fucking Tom Davies himself. You're not getting anything out of them going forward, really. Josh King especially. I mean, that's just an absolutely horrid display.
Yeah.
Fortunately,
like I said,
he came on.
Fortunately, the beautiful thing about the Josh King was it cost zero. So at least it cost nothing.
Right. I'm just saying, in general, he played 4 times for y'all substitute appearance?
Yeah.
Just garbage.
Yeah, and then we look across the pond. Well, we look across the channel and see there's one of our players fucking killing it for one of the biggest clubs in the fucking world.
Yeah.
And just killing it. I think he ended up with like 10 goals at PSG. That's a tough pill to swallow. It's a whole just fucking aggravating. I gotta say, I figure you're probably feeling the same, John. Just fucking aggravated that
he went to the French runners-up.
That
he come in second in the league.
You're the only team.
Fucking team in it.
But looking at Everton, it was right there for us. We had a really good run of schedule, and we fucked it off. And I I don't think it's to blame on Carlo, because Carlo took the pieces he had and put good formations out there and had good game plans. Just people weren't able to execute, and I think some of it just came down to sheer exhaustion.
I think a lot of it too.
I don't think there was anything left in the tank.
Luka Digne was hurt for a lot this year. Where he's been a complete stalwart for y'all for the last few seasons. I mean,
Still managed to be second in assist of all fullbacks.
Right.
Chilwell was the best this year.
It's just everybody had to deal with injuries. You know, obviously well documented. We talked about Liverpool multiple times. You all had the same sort of problem where 3 guys were hurt at once, but you never really got to put out your full team.
Yeah.
And when you did, they were either just coming back or weren't fully match fit yet. So it was kind of that end of the season was kind of stop start where you just didn't have
the first 5 games of the season. We had the whole team.
Right.
And then the Sheffield game, and we fucked off the Sheffield. But other than that, I mean, like, the Brighton game was a perfect example. We were missing 10 fucking players.
Yeah.
Like, we legitimately didn't have a substitute to put on. We put on, like, academy players who I just...
And it just happened at the worst possible point in the season.
Yeah.
When it was shit or get off the pot time.
Yeah.
And because of these injuries and some of those situations that the team was placed in, or players just coming back and not being fully match fit, you fucked it off, and it just is what it is.
And now I do say, you look at the 10th place finish, and don't look at it as a 10th place finish. This is a team that was playing for 6th on the final day of the season. It's a team that's improved by 10 points over the season.
Right.
That is what you have to look at.
Yeah.
The pieces are there.
And that's even with everybody hurt.
It's getting fixed. It's getting good. So this offseason is going to be very interesting for us. I'm intrigued to see, do we splash some big money at certain places, or do we kind of continue what we've been doing with brands, which is buying the right young pieces to replace and continue on.
I think Musari's got his eye on the Youth FA Cup this time.
Brilliant. Well, John, hope you enjoy all of the fun content we're going to have for you in June that we're about to record right now. So, appreciate all your support, brother. Thank you
for your support as always, and we will catch up with you.
Thanks, brother.